high school. High school. So this is interesting because this is I'm just realizing that the mic is probably catching a lot of the computer. It is what it is. So this is one of those compulsive art things. I would just so when I'm not paying attention in school, I would write, and I had this thing where I would just like scribble a bunch on a piece of paper, and then I would try to turn it into a drawing. So you just sketch, give yourself a bunch of lines if you can, sketch, 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 and then you come over here and you try to find a drawing in it, usually a face. And then, this isn't a good one. Well, none of them are good and none of them are bad. It's just, it's just a practice. Is you try to like scribble a bunch, and you just you try to like scribble on the paper, and then you just try to find a cartoon in there, or you try to find in something. So I'd be in class, and what it is, let me think. I valued sincerity, I valued reading a bunch, and I was just like, this is a good practice. It's like they're trying to teach you stuff, but like this is important too, to be able to like creativity is important. I always valued creativity, and so you're sketching, and then you're just like, all right, let me project some images onto the scribblings. I just felt like it was a useful skill to practice. Another one was writing. I mean, we're listening to hip hop and music, but it wasn't like I was trying to be a rapper. Actually, I would try to write raps, and I didn't know what to say because I was like, I couldn't figure out like why they were talking. And actually, I think that's a big problem with hip hop, is that they're saying stuff that isn't worth our time to listen to anyways, which is why I don't listen to a lot of the bullshit. But so I didn't have something worth saying, so I couldn't really write a rap. But I would, girls. So I would girls in my class, I'd write little poems about them, cute girls, or even sometimes just their names. And so I remember there's this one from AP Euro. So this is in 10th grade. Trang Nguyen probably. It goes oh, and also I would like listen to Phantom of the Opera and really like operatic stuff. And West Side Story was like my favorite movie my mom introduced me to. And so like I would like this so this one goes like, bang bang, all blood ridden, I had just been shot by Trang, cold callous in her eyes, holding malice, my demise is entertaining, liberating, sadistically invigorating. This is the day that David dies. She says, you never noticed me sitting behind you in history, but still I fell in love with you. The funny things that you would do, day in, day out, I fantasize, thoughts of you romanticize. I don't remember the rest. But still, you never ever looked my way. I suspected that you were gay. Something, something class, but I trust you know I must kill your ass, something. There's like Maggie Suval. I wrote this one in Maggie Suval's yearbook. I never hung out with her, but she was a cute girl, one of those girls that like, I was like looking at my porn and other super stuff and not noticing like the decent people around me. But or also sometimes it's because you're looking at the girl who won prom queen instead of looking at the girl who's sitting next to you. It's like, instead of like going for what you think is like, so that's like ego, I guess. It's like people who like look at like a celebrity and it's like, if you put your sexuality on that celebrity, it's like, are you paying attention to all the normal people in your life right next door? I think that's kind of bad. It's like your heavy crushes on these celebrities might be taken away from healthier outlets for your sexuality. So the same thing in a lot of culture stuff seems to happen in high school. Like high school seems to be a microcosm of the larger society. So a lot of the patterns I recognize in society are recognized in high school, and that's played out. And so we all gossip about like people and like the ASB and the cool kids. There's always a cool kid group that everyone gossips about, and that's what other than our tabloid magazines. And then when you're in the grocery store, we're all gossiping about the Kardashians and this or that celebrity. It's very similar to the high school bullshit we would do. That's what I noticed. So I guess maybe that's just a human function of we just like we're always gonna gossip about a smaller subset of the population, like the pretty ones or the popular ones, and then people trying to get into that group or talking shit about that group, and then that group has their hangers on and has their observers. But the fat middle of society isn't that group. That group is like the beautiful people. The fat middle are like the outside. Not the rejects, but not the cool kids, but just like there's this like base that underpins everything. I always thought was really interesting. But what was oh yeah, so Maggie Sewell was I don't remember the Maggie Sewell one. It was a good one though. Maggie Sewell was the queen of the ball. Yeah, that's all I remember. It was a good one. So this poem is a part of that. This poem is not about girls though, and it's not a random one. This is just me sitting in class, really not like in high school. So I don't remember when I came up with this, like 9th, 10th grade. It was just something that bounced around my head, and I think I actually wrote it down in Latin class. I think I took Latin instead of Spanish because I figured there's enough Spanish in my head. Yo no puedo hablar muy bien, pero yo entiendo mucho. It's a lot of, I understand most of it, but I should practice it more. So I was like, I'm going to take Latin. Latin's going to underpin, my intellectualism, help you understand language better. And I don't even remember a lot of that, but I like etymology and I like the history of words, and that helps me. That was the beginning of that curiosity. And so even in Latin class, I'm ignoring the teacher and not doing my work. And then I'm like, take out my frustration in a poem. That's what it is. Looking back at my life, I'm realizing that the connecting thread might be not just compulsive art, but art as curative. So when you're feeling something and then you express it through art, and then that helps you get perspective. You sort of like capture a little truth. So I'm expressing frustration. I remembered a lot of times thinking I would much rather have the freedom to take my life into my own hands, my education, and my just my hours. So I just remember thinking that it was a travesty that I have one life, and until 18 I have to be in this captured system. And I knew after 18 I have to be an adult. And I was like, can't I just have my childhood? Like, can't I just, we would play outside. We would take these shopping carts from Stater Brothers, and we would, my friend had a hacksaw, we would cut off the parts and turn them into go-karts, and then go up to the top of Mountain View, the hill, and then we would ride them down, and we would attach strings to the wheels and like ram them into each other, and we'd do all this crazy shit. We took skateboards, took the wheels off, and went to the dirt hills, and we called it terrorboarding. We'd jump off the hills and slide down on the skateboard decks, and we didn't even skateboard, we just did that. One of us started skateboarding, this kid, but yeah, I just thought that I was a better judge of what is worth my time, and I didn't really give that willingly. So when I'm sitting there in school really feeling trapped, until I started ditching a lot, just not going all together, I would do stuff like this. So I didn't have many of them, but this is probably the one that I remember most, because it's always stuck in my head, because I knew it long before I wrote it down. And so it goes, high school. My intuition is to hate the institution of the school. I feel that savagely they rape the innocent who come as fools. The young are forced, they have no choice. They're made to come and fit the mold. They are coerced to lose their voice and shown the proper way to fold. The world is in demand for bricks. They see us as a fresh supply, so they begin to teach us tricks and to make us live up to their lies. Your life is great, you should have pride in everything mankind has done. Yet still my fate I can't decide, and youth evokes a setting sun. I was never sure about that last line. I think I left it open, and that's just the last one I picked. But yeah, that's me, a little renegade. So when I run into anarchism or like Taoism, not Taoism, but like Zen Buddhism, or like stuff that is like anti-institutional, I never really liked stuff for the scene or the identity. So when I had those like anarchist friends who they wore like the anarchist A and the leather jackets with like the rivets and stuff, I didn't like that stuff. I always kind of dressed like normal / poor, but I didn't like identity, but I seemed to gravitate towards those ideas, but not dogmatically, but more like, so when I read Zen Buddhism and they say like sit on top of Buddha's head, I really identify with that. It's like, yes, let's not worship institutions. Some people just really, and it might go back to like the family thing, the entrepreneurial, like my grandpa really didn't trust the institution of the church. Just some of us are, I think I learned that in AP psychology. It's like you got these different personality types, and some of us are a lot more solitary, go on your own type, and this is definitely evidence of that instinct at an early age.